And welcome back, everybody, to most likely one of the last episodes for this series here. Not much more to cover over. We've been through the whole entire game. Well, not the entire game. That's kind of the point of this video. There's a lot of modes I kind of just brushed off and never really went into more detail about. So, without further ado, I'm going to talk about the game, my thoughts on the game, how I liked it, what I liked, what I didn't like, what I would love to see in future Gundam games. This game has a lot of modes, just like Federation vs. Zeon. Federation vs. Zeon, this game's built off the same engine. This one has arcade mode, which was actually what these games originally were. These were arcade games. Come back out of there. These were originally arcade games. And you had Federation versus Zeon, and then you had AU versus Titans, which is what this game ended up developing into. AU versus Titans, you probably seen if you watch any of my streams. I stream that game a little bit. It's only in Japanese. It's only in Japanese, but it plays a lot like Federation versus Zeon. For this game, went for a completely different route. I appreciate that for this game. Arcade mode plays exactly as I would like to think it plays. Basically, you choose a mobile suit and you go into battle, and you go through a series of modes. This game has actually unlocked a couple more modes for it. Yeah, I just unlocked F route and G route, I think, recently. Well, it might have been E route. I forget. I have to think of. Yeah, I unlocked a couple new routes since last time. I'll get back out. But on this one, you choose a route. The other games don't have routes, and you make your own name, or you can choose a random name. And when you launch your mobile suit, you got access to pretty much all your mobile suits you'd ever like. Ooh, double Zeta. I forgot to unlock that too. We're not going to really play much of this.
We've infiltrated Side 7. Destroy the enemy mobile suits.
And that's pretty much what you can choose between your awakened types.
You Zeon scum! Okay, launching!
And you get their voiceover if you choose a main character or a character from the random selection.
Leave it to me!
And you got their battle bars up the top. Every so many missions, you get boss character. Basically, just if you defeat them, you get more points. You defeat them a certain way, you can unlock. Oof, get wrecked. Let's back to the menu though. But basically, you play through it. Usually, I think it's 10 missions. I think after about 5 missions, they'll throw a boss at you, and the final mission, they'll throw another boss. And it'll be what they select for it. Versus is very similar to arcade. I'm not sure if it'll let me go in here because I don't have my spare controller there. Nope. You can choose your mobile suits. You can auto-select the mobile suits if you got other stuff in there. Mobile armors, you can select mobile armors, and you can do versus or you can do team play. Like I can set up a second player over here and me, and we can go against them and just battle until you get bored. There's no set end mission on that. You can change your rules by going and select, and this will deal out what kind of damage you get, your timer, how many battle points those gauges in the go for. The Awakening, Unlimited. Oh, I didn't know you unlimited ammo. Huh. You can change what stages you're using, character names, and you can even choose out your enemy mobile suits. So you can have a lot of fun with that. Me and my son like to play on versus a lot. We'll battle each other and we'll go back and forth. Universal mode, we are well aware of that, and I'll save that for last. We got survival mode, and this plays a lot like arcade mode, except you battle until you die. You can recover some points in between matches. Matter of fact, I gotta do another survival mode for the Titans Axis side, because you get to a certain point, you unlock some stuff in the gallery that you can buy. Training mode, kind of like arcade mode, kind of like survival mode. You can pick whatever you want. You select your routes. You can tell the computer what to do. Attack, no attack, ammunition unlimited. They can attack, but they have no attack power. And you can practice. It's basically what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be practice. We got replay feature. I don't think I've done any replays. Yeah, I don't have any replays. You can save after matches. Save replays. And if you want to look back on it, it's a neat feature. Remember, this game came out in 2004. Online play wasn't really a thing at that point, or really that big. Obviously, game options, which we went through before, and then gallery mode. And this is probably the nicest feature of this game. You earn points. You've seen the battle points earn up. And this is the one I was waiting to show you guys. I have almost everything unlocked. And I might do a follow-up video once I get everything unlocked. Right now I'm sitting at 93%. But you can look at all the mobile suits that I've selected. There's a couple I don't have. This should be the Cubile Mark II Double Zeta, and should be the Double Cannon Double Zeta. Same with the Xeon side. We got all the mobile suits that could be in there. Or Xeon Titans. We even got them painted in other colors. And same with this side too. You got the Mark II, and these would be the Double Zeta in 78 and 79. Mobile armors, and that's going to be the big thing I got unlocked. We have our mobile armors with the big Ziam. You can look at it from different views. It doesn't really do anything. Well, silly me. You can do stuff with the transformable mobile suits, like the Zeta here. And only the transformable mobile suits will be able to do this. Press X to hide the display, and then press the O button, and you can make it transform. And it goes through the proper sequence. As you see, the head tucks in there, the shield comes over, the wings come over. It's quick, but it worked. It actually is very accurate to the anime. And all the mobile suits are like that. All the transformable mobile suits are like that. Oh, yep, we have the Psycho Gundam. This one was surprised me being accurate. Zoom out. I mean, I will give it the animators not the animators, the developers. They love Gundam. Nobody would put this much effort into a transforming sequence if they didn't love Gundam. They would have just brushed it off to the side. Oh, we got our warships. Every possible warship. We got White Base, the Radish, Argama, all the way down to Xeon ships like the Gaul. Then we got the pretty much extra stuff. We got characters you'll never see. You got the Junior Mobile, which is always neat to look at. You got Camille's mom over here. And this is the reward for beating Universal Mode. You get the hero. Doesn't do anything, but it's there. Now what we got? Background music. You can change your background music by hitting square and picking a different song. But there's a list of all songs. Every song basically from Zeta and the original Gundam series. Got most of the characters unlocked. If you go in here, they can voice over. You can listen to all their dialogue that they have in the game. Like if they have a partner there.
How dare you enjoy this?
And circles do their normal speech, and it'll cycle
Shouldn't have
through.
skimped on maintenance. Lieutenant Quattro, Camille. Mr. Amaro, Camille.
And that's basically it. There's nothing really that fancy. You got several characters here. And they just kind of basically do the same thing.
Everyone's self-centered. They only think of themselves. Ryu!
Amaro!
I like how they just say their names. Is that another Armoro? I didn't know we had a second Armoro.
Amaro, standing by on catapult.
Huh. I didn't know we had a second one on there. Yeah, illustration. These are all promotional arts and things like that. And man, I wish this was a computer game. So I would love to be able to download all these, and I'd make them. Especially some of these would be awesome background, or desktop backgrounds. Some of these are just cool pictures. Yeah, but they're not really high res either, so that's a shame. We got videos, and these basically go through the introduction videos throughout the game. And the launch videos. Basically, choose where you're launching at. Space, bright, cool, Camille, and say Zeta. And hit play.
Camille, you ready to launch? I'm counting on you, Camille. Roger. Zeta,
Depending on
let's do it.
captain you choose, it'll be depending on the ship like it, but I think you choose shoot, what's his name? There you go, Heineken. I think he does from the Radish. I could be wrong. Nope.
Hands level on battle station.
That's right, he was the captain of and you get launched from Bad Guy Ship 2. Which I think this would be
All right,
the Alexandria, and I think the Salamis Kai.
Launch mobile suit team.
And I love this 4K version of this game. It really crisps everything up. And I get lost doing that. But when you earn enough points, you can see I only have 3,000 points left. You go to points exchange and you can buy more mobile suits. As you can see, most of them are the cheap ones, like the Methis and whatnot, are only 3,000 or 5,000. When you start getting the good stuff, Hayashiki 20,000, Zeta. With the Q-Blade Mark II being 70,000 and the double cannon Zeta being 100. It's going to take a while to grind that out. And the same thing with the Xeon side. I think we got all the more armors unlocked that we can unlock because I got to go back into survival mode again. And that's basically it. But yeah, let's talk about the game, the actual core meat of the game, the part of the game that everybody buys this for. And I think at this point I'm gonna switch over to replay here, and and just talk about the game in the background here. So bear with me while I switch on over. Now that I covered all the options that I didn't really talk about before, let's talk about the good, the bad, and my general final thoughts on the game. Let's go with the bad, the cons. And there is not a lot of bad or cons with this game. Got to take into account the era that this game came out in, early 2000s, and modern gaming was finding its foothold at the time. If anything, this game has a weird scaling for difficulty and the amount of missions that you have to replay several times over. I am looking at you, Black Tri-Stars. I'm looking at you, Garma missions, the Access missions that they use to pad out the game. Now this wasn't a bad thing. Well, it is. It's on the bad list. But you gotta understand what the game play was back then. We go from the 80s and 90s with Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, where games made up their time by making them difficult, making them absurdly difficult. I mean, there's lots of horror stories online about the games of the past. When PlayStation 1 came out, all of a sudden, modern games had all this space to make the game longer, to pad out the story with actual story. Something the writers probably always wanted to do with so many games. So this allowed them to experiment. Unfortunately, games like this, which is a converted arcade game, and probably the developers pushing that, hey, this game's got to be at least 30, 20, 30, 40 hours long, like everybody else. They had to pad this game out in one way or another. And unfortunately, they could have found a better way to pad the game out, but this was their solution, to make the main story mode long by repeating missions. And it's a bad con. I cannot go any further. It drags on. Switching around different characters helps alleviate that, but it just doesn't take away from how much burnout you could feel in this game because of that. And the other con that I could think of is the weird difficulty patterns that this game has. There are easy missions that say easy, but boy, they're not easy. And there's hard missions that are a complete joke, and then there are definitely hard missions. There doesn't seem to be a proper scaling of these missions whatsoever. Even using basic mobile suits, the game had a way of just not sure what it actually meant when it said that this was an easy, medium, easy, normal, or hard mission. Outside of that, I mean, the game, there's not much more negative I can say. The graphics are as good as it got for this game engine. You can see the graphical improvement over Federation versus Xeon. And obviously using an emulator that pushes to 4K, you can definitely see the upscale on it. You can see the polygons sharpened out. And while the textures that stretch over those polygon models are definitely showing their age, it definitely shows how good it was at that point in time, especially being the basis from an arcade game. Let's talk about the good of this game. First thing I would like to say is the controls. This game engine that originally came from Federation versus Xeon over to this game, it's both games, actually AU versus Titans 2 also is part of this game engine, the game that came out before this one, after Federation versus Xeon. All three games have very tight controls, and it shows because arcade games live and die by their controls. That's why games like Street Fighter have survived for so long, is because it's important to people to be able, if you hit a button, your character does what it needs to do. There's no lag, there's no input messing up. And to show how great the controls have been, using an emulator, I've had some games in the past that have a noticeable delay or lag to when you hit a button, the character does what you need it to do. And this game is still very tight. I did buy a new controller for this game because my old controller was lagging a little bit, but that's because I press the buttons hard on my controller, so I've probably worn it out over time. So I bought a new controller, and it works wonderfully for this game. Another great thing is the amount of mobile suits you get to play. You get to play pretty much everything from Zeta and everything from the 1 Year War at one point or time. The only thing I would wish for was they had a little bit of double Zeta in there. I wouldn't have mind seeing more double Zeta suits, because there are some interesting mobile suits, like the Zaku 3 would have been very cool. But unfortunately, they didn't make another one of these games for this era, so what can you say? Another great thing about this game is the graphics itself are wonderful for this game. For this era, more or less. Even without the 4K upscaling, the graphics are definitely boosted up over the Federation versus Xeon models. Even the original models from that game that they transferred into this game, for me, you can see there's a little bit of a graphical update to them. And the 4K upscaling does a wonderful job pulling these polygon models together. Now the textures that stretch over those polygons, they are showing their age, but for the time period, they're absolutely wonderful for what they are. Sure, I mean, you are going to compare it to games at the same era of, say, Metal Gear Solid 2, which is a great looking game for that era. That's a game that has PlayStation 3 era graphics and PlayStation 2. That said, I think this is one of the best looking games that they've had during that time period. I'm trying to think of what else. The sheer amount of characters you get to play also is another great part of this game. You get to play almost every side character you can think of. And there's some side characters I do like Emma. She's one of my favorite characters from the Zeta era. She's cool, calm, collected, and to be able to play as her, it was just a treat. Another thing is the amount of stuff you get to do. As I was saying earlier about the game being pumped up to make sure they got enough time in here to sell the game, they added a lot of great stuff. The gallery mode is awesome. Survival mode's nice. It would have been nice if this game had an online play feature, but the time period, it just didn't allow it. And I think if they made this game nowadays, it probably would have pushed the online feature way over the story mode, and the story mode probably would have got forgotten, which would have been very sad because you could just see the love that the developers had for this game. They wanted these characters to be shown, and they written so many alternate paths for them just to show that they thought about it. They thought about what these characters could do, and it's a great job on them. And my final thoughts on this game are, it's a game for Gundam fans, made by Gundam fans, and even if you are not Gundam fans, if you're mech fans, sci-fi fans, or just plain smash 'em up fighting game fans, I think this game would have something for everybody to enjoy. It's not hard to get into. The story itself explains it well enough that even newcomers would have a good idea what's going on. And since the controls are nice, it works well. This is one of those games I would love to see a honest to goodness full remake. Not just a graphical update, but like a full remake of all the mobile suits. I'd be worried that if they pushed it for online play and they would just forget about the story as it is. Or if they didn't add more to it, say maybe add double Zeta era plot lines, or even more maps. In AU versus Titans, which is the predecessor to this game, it follows more of a story mode like Federation versus Xeon. So, and they have actually a few more maps in that game that aren't in this game. I don't know why they didn't transfer those maps over, and it's unfortunate for what it is. But as I said, this is a great game. It's highly recommended. Don't be afraid about downloading the ROM. This game came out over 20 years ago. You're not hurting anybody at this point, and I may catch some flack for saying that, but you're not going to find, they don't make these games anymore. They haven't made them in a long time. And most places that are selling them, they're selling them for $100 plus, which is just a plain rip-off. So don't worry about downloading the ROM and playing it, because obviously the developers would love to just, I think, have people play, because you can see the love in this game. You can see they put their heart into this game, and it should be rewarded. So as I said, I highly recommend anybody to play this game, and just go out there and enjoy it. Have fun. Prepare for long drawn out sections in the UC story mode that make you want to just shut the game off and put it away, and just go for it. Have fun. Enjoy it. And until next time, everybody, have a good time playing some games and get out there and have fun with them. These old games aren't going to be there forever, and they deserve some love too. So we'll see y'all next time.